What is up, everybody? Welcome in MLB DFS Army pre-lock show Tuesday. Razzle and Tattoo here. 13 game slate down to 12, maybe an 11 game slate. Sounds like Boston's going to try to play. How are you doing today, Tattoo?
Not too bad, other than I will never accidentally pick up Pepsi Zero Sugar instead of regular Pepsi, because apparently whatever they put in it does not agree with my gut at all.
It's going to take you a little bit to get used to that.
Yeah, and it tastes like shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that too. A little behind on the getting started today because my grocery order was delivered 20 minutes ago, but it had a third of my order mixed with a portion of somebody else's order. So I've been on the phone trying to figure that out, and because the app wouldn't give me the refund and I had to call, they submitted it, and then right before we went on the show, I looked out in the hallway, and they dropped off my remaining groceries at the neighbor's door now. So I don't know if I got groceries for free or, if I'm going to end up not getting that refund. I don't care now at that point, but still, they did take the other groceries that weren't mine. So, excuse me, it was just annoying, especially because, the 2/3 that wasn't there was the food that I wanted to make, for supper and regular meals. The only thing that was there were like pickles and milk and water. So yeah, it's been fun.
That was very refreshing to hear. Supper.
Dinner?
No, I mean, because I've always, my whole life, it's been supper.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of both, but I say supper more. So, I mean, in Wisconsin, we have supper clubs. So, they're restaurants, but supper clubs. So yeah, we utilize that word more than dinner. Anyways, enough of my ranting and I'm still a little annoyed. Like you take the time to order through the Walmart app, you pay for Walmart Plus so that you get free delivery because, usually I'm just spending this time researching and finalizing notes and stuff. So I don't really want to take a break to go grocery shopping. And then
nobody wants to actually go inside of a Walmart if they don't absolutely have to.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I've been in one. Even before Walmart Plus, I ordered and then had them bring it out to my vehicle.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier, and I don't know. I'd say I'm lazy, but it's really because if I go in there and shop, I end up spending twice as much as I need to.
Yeah.
So I just want to get the things that I need and get out. So, but yeah, we have a 12-game slate now. Less strong pitching names than last night, but less offensive environments tonight, if that makes sense. But last night wasn't as high scoring as I thought it was going to be. And it would have been even lower scoring and even more beneficial to the bankroll if the Chicago Cubs just walked it off in the bottom of the ninth rather than allow Detroit to score a bunch of runs on the top of the 10th. I don't know if you paid attention to that. I happen to be looking, but that cost me many thousands of dollars last night.
Ugh.
Many thousands. So I was pretty annoyed considering the Cubs were, had a runner on third with one out with PCA up. They intentionally walked him. He moved to second, so second and third with one out with Suzuki up. And then he struck out. And then Bush walked. And then Bregman was up 3-0 and struck out. Yeah, I'm not going to be bitter about that for long or anything, but today's a new day, and we're supposed to look at it as a new day. Speaking of Wrigley, like the wind were blowing straight out yesterday, it's blowing straight in today.
I think, and it's blowing in even harder.
Are we really going to rely on David Peterson to be our savior this evening?
Can't imagine. I mean, just because it can't hit home runs, don't mean it can't score runs.
This is generally true. Being left-handed against Detroit is probably a bonus, but his ownership has come down. Earlier this afternoon and this morning, he was projected as the second highest owned pitcher on DK. He and Luis Castillo were projecting for about 44 to 48%, depending on the time of day, a combined percentage. Now they're down to 43%, with the majority of that Luis Castillo. But it's Luis Castillo. Like, do we really need to be trusting Luis Castillo as the chalky pitcher on this slate?
Yeah, it's tough to. Well, chalk would always be tough to swallow. It would be pretty, chalky. But yeah, not a chalk that I would be in love with.
He does have the best point per dollar projection on a slate where, I guess we don't really have pitching. I mean, I don't know. Like, he's got the fourth best raw point projection, but that just blows my mind. Somehow he is the fifth highest favorite or something, roughly.
Yeah, I kind of get it on FanDuel. It's nobody great out there, and he's a favorite. So I mean, I can get it on FanDuel, and you're not getting penalized for all the other stuff.
But so I would think that FanDuel scoring would benefit the other side of that game more in Chase Burns. FanDuel, you don't have to worry about his
equity. That 12 points.
You don't have to worry about his walk issues on FanDuel.
Yeah.
You get all of his strikeout ability and upside. Like, there's a good chance that he strikes out twice as many guys as Luis Castillo in that same game.
I'm still on FanDuel. No, let me jump back over there. The ownership. On FanDuel, Castillo's, I guess, basically double. He's 21% and Burns is 11%, and they're 1 and 2.
Yeah, like, if anything, for me on FanDuel, I'm flip-flopping those.
It's
like,
just,
I want Burns 20+%.
A huge price discrepancy.
I can make things work.
Yeah.
Plus, FanDuel's never that difficult to build stacks.
No.
Even using an expensive pitcher. So I think tonight's pitching slate is ugly, but I think it's a spot to take advantage of leverage even more than, like last night. I made the statement in Discord earlier today, and we talked about it yesterday on the show. I had trouble creating leverage in my pitching pool because, I wanted to just play all the guys that were owned, and the guys that weren't owned were guys that I was ignoring anyways. Tonight's kind of the complete opposite. Like, I can create a ton of leverage in my pitcher pool because right now I don't have Kumar Rocker in my pitcher pool, and he's at almost 19% on DK. He's one I'm debating. Like, Rocker's in the debate just because I haven't seen the White Sox lineup, but I assumed that Colson Montgomery was going to be out after he left last night's game. I obviously was dealing with the grocery issue. And so, yep, Colson Montgomery was in the lineup and then he was scratched already. It's never cool to open up your phone and the first notification you see is Joshua Kuroda Grower underwent surgery for ruptured testicle.
That's disheartening.
Yeah, he just got scratched is basically it. I see.
No, you got more than scratch.
Kuroda can't scratch, and Colson got scratched. So that just weakens the White Sox lineup from a danger standpoint to where I might be a little bit interested, but still I don't really know that I want to rely on Kumar Rocker. He's been pretty bad at home, too. So I think I'm probably sticking with my stance that I'm taking the pitcher on the opposite side of him, Noah Schultz, because he's left-handed against Texas. And Texas's hottest hitter has been Jock Peterson, so that kind of neutralizes that. I don't know. It does feel like a night where I'm just kind of opposite what people are doing in certain games. We already talked about Seattle, Cincinnati. I'm higher on Chase Burns than Luis Castillo, and the ownership wants Castillo. Texas and the White Sox, I'm higher on Noah Schultz, and everybody wants Kumar Rocker. Shouldn't say everybody, but from the projected ownership numbers, they much prefer that. They prefer David Peterson over Framber Valdez. I am going to Framber Valdez. Now, obviously, Framber comes with a ton of volatility. Like, is he somebody you want to use on FanDuel? I would think he'd be better on FanDuel as well, though, because you don't have to deal with his walks and those issues. Is it storming there?
A little bit. Charles, who shit more, me or you?
Milwaukee and the Mets, Brandon Sproat or Zach Thornton. I will be honest. We don't have Zach Thornton showing up in the pool. I'll have to adjust that, but I prefer Zach Thornton, and that's one that I almost skipped over because I didn't realize that he's thrown the ball that well recently. And I don't really want to trust Brandon Sproat. So I could keep going.
That was my next question.
Most of them. What, Zach Thornton or Sprout?
Sprout.
I just don't really feel great about him. There are things that point to yes. He's been more of a reverse splits pitcher, and that's probably a pretty big thing against the Mets. I haven't seen their lineup either, but if they try to force in Ewing, Carson Benj with Soto in the outfield, because Luis Robert came back yesterday. So it really depends on their lineup. But yeah, they do have Benj and Ewing. 4 out of the first 5 hitters will be hitting left-handed against him. Francisco Alvarez is not in the lineup, and that was the one guy I really liked tonight.
Yeah.
Kind of as an under-the-radar catcher play, but he's not in the lineup.
I saw Chuck asked, is it worth it to pay up for Chase Burns? I think so. I think there's enough.
I think it's always worth it.
Yeah.
To pay up for the guy that has
value,
has the highest ceiling, right?
Yeah. And I was just say it's enough teams, where you can get cheaper stacks.
And I haven't looked at FanDuel pricing wise, but yeah, I mean, I just in general, like you can get San Francisco cheaper, right? You can get Kansas City cheaper because there's no Bobby Witt.
Well, you know how when you look at DraftKings at average salary, and there's green, and there's light green, and there's kind of white, and then there's like red, like
Yeah.
On FanDuel, like Washington is lime green, and that's their highest. I mean, it's no teams like whoa.
Yeah.
There's no issue.
Well, because we lost the Dodgers, right? They're on the early game. We lost the Yankees. We lost the Pirates on DK because the Pirates are expensive. I don't know if you saw what like O'Hearn's price was. Brandon Lau was in the 5Ks as well. Like the Pirates were far more expensive than I would have thought. So I don't like. I'm obviously always paying up for the upside pitchers because I play such large field stuff that I need access to ceilings that Chase Burns provides. But that's also another reason why I'm playing, Kevin Gausman, even though he's against the Rays, is because when Gausman is right, like he still strikes people out, even though the Rays don't strike out. That's why I want to play Framber Valdez, who has huge ceiling when things come together. But he's kind of somewhat rare when it comes together now.
Yeah.
Ken Kniff is considering Tyler Mahle. Is that somebody you're considering?
I had not, but
I don't think I'm getting there either.
I mean, I don't. I'm not going to poo-poo on it because he'll go out and stroke tonight. I had not personally gotten there.
I just think like the Kansas City lineup has been swinging it pretty well outside of Witt, that it doesn't feel great, and he's been pretty bad on the road too. BVP versus Gausman is frightening. Wasn't it mainly just like three guys, really?
I think, if I recall.
Or maybe four. I mean, I think it's technically four, but like Caminero was like 3 for 8 with just 3 singles or something. Yandy, Aranda, and then Chandler Simpson's like 7 for 12. But 5 of those are singles. Like Chandler Simpson's not getting Gausman for bombs. I think Aranda and Yandy just each have 1 home run, so it's not like they're home runs coming. So I don't know. If this was like mixed with last night's slate, yeah, I probably wouldn't be playing Gausman. If Gausman pitched last night instead of Cease, and we had those other options, I probably wouldn't be playing Gausman. But given that tonight we have lesser options across the board for pitching, I think I'm just going to play Gausman. Especially because he's been so much better at home too. Like we're at least getting him in his plus split. Are you considering Tatsuya Imai against the Marlins?
I am not.
Not me either, but 16% of people apparently are on DraftKings. Currently projected for basically the same ownership as Matthew Liberatore, which is, the 4th highest ownership on the slate. Are you going to play your boy Kyle Bradish?
I'm guessing we got the weather concern there, do we not?
It is weather concerned, and we really need some timing updates for everything with it. Because later tonight it gets really bad.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of if they miss out on some of these early storms. If they miss out on the early ones, he's
going that way. They got a doozy coming.
That might be what's going that way. I don't know. Let's see any other names that we can talk about. I talked about Zach Thornton and bringing him into the pool. We need to make sure he gets a projection, and I'll work on that. Left-handed pitching against Milwaukee has been a thing that I don't mind. And Thornton's looked good in the last 2 starts. Is he somebody you want to consider? I'm not sure what his FanDuel price is. A little bit more expensive on DK than I would have guessed.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't have any desire to pick on Milwaukee.
Is there any other name that you're considering that I haven't brought up? Reynaldo Lopez, maybe?
That was the one I was getting ready to look kind of more into. I was like, what has he been doing? Because it's so many damn Braves pitchers between him and Perez. Who was the one that was limited before?
Well, like Reynaldo Lopez had been limited. I think he's up in the 80 pitch range now. So
yeah,
he feels fine. Really, is what I'm thinking. I'm not overly excited. San Diego has, I guess, woken up a little bit from an offensive standpoint. At least the top part of their lineup has been.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a worry, but Reynaldo Lopez is the largest favorite on the slate. The problem is I don't know if he's getting 6 innings on FanDuel. It's the only thing that I don't really know. I would think that he has the ability to get 6 innings, but I don't know. I think there are too many people blindly trusting Cole Drake against the A's. It's a guy that's had a 7 ERA in the minors this season. 7 ERA. I should lie. Fine. I get yelled at by my daughter all the time. It's not 7. It's a 6.98 ERA on the season.
Don't round up.
Yeah, so I can't round up, but to blindly take him in. I mean, his ownership has come down as the day's gone on. It was higher originally today, but even 8% on DK feels way too strong for a guy with that kind of number or those kind of numbers. So he's probably going to throw a no-hitter in his major league debut tonight.
Probably so. I know your position on this overall as a rule, but Burns, Castillo, would you play both of them? Or are you stopping it?
I think I'm probably going to end up with a couple because I'm obviously going to have more Burns. I am going, at least half of what the field is on Castillo. So it's not like I'm going to have a ton. So the ability for those two to get paired together is going to be weaker, but
yeah,
the DS probably is going to give it to me. I mean, I am going to drop Castillo's projection. I'll be honest there. I'm not leaving him as the highest point per dollar projected pitcher on this slate. But I may end up with a couple combinations of it. I haven't run it raw to see or anything. We just got the update. Baltimore and Boston have been PPD'd as well. Gets rid of Kyle Bradish completely. I keep hearing your storm, but at the same time, we have the EAA Air Venture thing going on here in Oshkosh, which is just the largest aviation party all week long at the airport. So I just keep hearing these jets flying overhead here as well. So it makes me think the world's ending, especially when they happen at the same time. Considering we are many states away from each other. So in case you hear something in my background, it's jets flying directly over my apartment complex. anything else you want to add as far as pitching goes, or can we slide over to offense?
Yeah, I'm an offensive guy. I'm an offensive guy.
Somebody's got to be.
Yeah.
Let's see. It looks like the leverage stack page is up now, so we can go to that. They've been having some issues with numbers and all that stuff, but looks like we are good to go. Are you surprised to see Coors the number one at the top with both Colorado and Washington?
No. I guess we've learned that the highest ownership doesn't exclude you from being the leverage.
This is true.
I had a FanDuel keeps sending me like the vouchers and crap.
Yep.
And I said, let me just, for giggles, make a lineup. I didn't do sheets today. I was like, let me just throw a lineup together. Blah, blah. And I ended up starting with like Texas and the Angels was my original stack. But I think I've come down a little on Texas. Well, I'm not sure yet. I just like a couple of their bats versus lefties right now.
It's definitely not the combination I would have saw coming out of you, because I don't like either team, so that's probably it.
Well, I will say that this was the nickel. They gave me in this particular case, it was for the nickels.
Okay.
So I was just gonna try to be as far off the wall as I could. Now, if I'm putting my money on it, that is not where I'm starting. But I do love Atlanta.
Atlanta is my number one team tonight too. So seeing them sixth and at a third of the ownership of Colorado right now on DraftKings makes me super excited. Now, I am not anti-Coors tonight because that game by far has the worst pitching combination. It's not even close. So I understand it. But yeah, I went with Atlanta first and foremost in my rankings. And then I went with the Washington side ahead of Colorado in my rankings. Mainly because Lorenzo's just been super bad in this ballpark, and they are the visiting team. And they're the one solid. I wouldn't even say solid. The one thing from Miles Mikolas that helped me make that decision is the fact that he's been somewhat slightly reverse splits for his power. So, and it's tougher for right-handed bats to hit home runs in this ballpark than left-handed bats. So that's kind of what made the coin flip decision between Washington and Colorado.
Yeah.
Colorado ended up tier 2. But then after those three teams, it felt like it was somewhat of a crapshoot in deciding the rest of my rankings. My other tier 2 teams are Houston, who scares me. Not very popular, which is nice. Really, it's just because I want to force myself to have a lot of Jordan tonight. And then the other one is the A's. Picking on that 6.98 minor league ERA for a pitcher making his major league debut. So Tommy White, come on down to the home run circle this evening. In fact, you should probably put some money on it. He was going to be my dinger call, but I went with somebody else for our contest. Outside of Atlanta and the Coors game, any other teams stand out for you?
God, I was just looking at Atlanta again. Let me jump back here. I do like the Angels, and in the same breath, the Cardinals. I don't even mind using Miami and picking on Tu Wong Fu, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I think Miami makes a lot of sense.
Milwaukee. And I mean, the White Sox just score runs.
They do, and that's like I don't know if you saw that I had kind of highlighted them on the screen and before I scrolled up. The White Sox at sub 11% total bat ownership.
Yeah.
It's going to change now that Boston and Baltimore are postponed, but
I mean, they're 7th in runs scored per game.
Yeah, they're number 1 in runs per game in the AL, second behind the Twins in total runs in the AL yet. I think like 2 super leverage spots from the pitcher rankings are, I mean, Ken Kniff just pointed it out, would be the White Sox and then the Reds.
Yeah.
Reds at 11.5% total ownership against Luis Castillo. I will take some chances to crush that since I'm going way underweight on Luis Castillo. I think Cincinnati could explode enough to do some damage there. So I like that low ownership. I don't know if I'm getting to, you mentioned the Angels or St. Louis. I think St. Louis is probably going to be in my article that will drop as soon as we're off the show. So people might want to read that. Maybe I need to go with the Angels just because like I'm going to be a little bit overweight on Liberatore and he has the ability to suck at times. Like he's not as trustworthy as Kyle Leahy was last night.
Yeah.
Which Kyle Leahy losing out on that W hurt a lot as well. Thanks, Riley O'Brien. Whatever that was in the 9th inning. Thanks, I guess. What are you doing with a team like San Diego? Like a lot of this stuff on the leverage stack sheet is red for them, right? But they're still 8th in ownership?
Yeah, and where they're like, I mean, they're, I guess, middle of the pack with IRT. They're just a team that I don't stack.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
sure, it's going to burn me maybe once or twice during the season. But, it's just I've made a cognitive effort not to stack them. I'll mini stack them, but it's bias. So,
yeah, it's tough because the top half of the lineup's been performing right now. And, some of those names are guys that we expected to perform better this entire season because they obviously have the track record of actually doing it. I don't know, like, it makes you wonder, like, do some of these projections and everything take into account what they did in the first half more than what they should have done? So, like, that's kind of where I'm lost in making a decision because I do like Tatis. Jackson Merrill should be better. Ty France just can't stop hitting home runs somehow. I don't know. Like, I just don't know. It's one of the better ballparks for offenses tonight, too. That's another thing. Because we don't have a ton of huge offensive spots. So I feel like if we're going to be high on Atlanta, we probably have to consider San Diego in the same ballpark. What are you doing with, like, are you interested in fully stacking Kansas City without Bobby Witt?
No. Yes. I don't care.
I mean, I am, but the stacks don't look great, right? Like, are you stacking against Kevin Gausman?
I found myself having Junior as a one-off.
I think Tampa Bay is the last team in my top 12. I think I'm going to sprinkle in some main stacks with him. I honestly have started spreading out my stack combinations a little bit more, so I may not get 5-man stacks at Tampa Bay. It might be a 3 or 4-man stack. Majority of my lineups are going to be 5-man, but I do have a sprinkle percentage of 3 and 4-man main stacks on DK. The reason that I've switched to doing that is on slates where the 5-man stack doesn't hit home, like I'd be losing a lot more money then, right? Like if no 5-man stack goes off, I'm probably in trouble because other people are using different kind of stack combinations, etc. So I've included 3-2 and 4-2 in my builds now, and it helps spread me out. And I mean, last night I cashed 48% of my lineups in GPP, or MME wise, across multiple contests. So it gives me a little bit better spread, and I can still focus on editing my player pool quite a bit. So maybe, once I run it, maybe Tampa Bay is one of those teams in my builds where I just end up with a lot of 3-2 builds with them. And like, I'm not going to fight it, right? Like 3-2 probably means I have 2 of Aranda, Diaz, and Caminero, and then like Victor Mesa or Chandler Simpson or something, or I guess even Mullins. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to play some Tampa Bay. I just think that Gausman is one of those guys that could win the slate tonight because everybody sees these 4 BVP numbers, 4 players, BVP numbers against him. So I don't know. Do you have any interest in trying to guess that Chase Burns is going to struggle and you go with the Seattle Mariners?
No, that the thought that Chase Burns could struggle, stacking the Seattle, no. Not gonna get there.
Yeah, I kind of have that same feeling. I don't really want to because I feel like if Chase Burns struggles, it's because he gives up like a home run and then a couple walks. Like the walks aren't going to kill us from a stacking perspective. They're going to hurt Chase Burns on DK because of that issue with the efficiency scoring. But Seattle walking 5 times in that game is not going to help our stack out, right?
No.
So yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Is there any other team that we haven't? I mean, we brought up a bunch of them. Is there any other team that you either just hate the idea of using or are somewhat interested in sprinkling a little bit of?
I don't think so. I like San Francisco. I just can't quit them.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Like they, before I start quoting numbers again, I'm gonna bring it up on another monitor. Um, I mean, they're right in the middle of the pack in terms of OPS as a team, but they're fifth in baseball in just hitting, batting average wise. Um, and what are they? The fifth fewest strikeouts on the season as well. It's just that San Francisco doesn't score enough runs
Yeah.
in general. Um, the fifth fewest, but for much of the first half of the season, they were the lowest scoring team in baseball too. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm going to play San Francisco, even though I don't love it. Um, the one team that I am not fully stacking that has a strong implied team total. Do you think you can guess which team that is? Actually, there's two of them. I lied. There's actually two of them that have strong implied team totals that I am not stacking at all, or not main stacking, I should say.
Let's see. Let me switch by team totals. That you are not stacking at all.
Yeah.
Houston.
I am stacking Houston. But both teams that I'm not stacking have higher implied run totals than Houston.
Arizona and Colorado.
Arizona is one of them. Back-to-back nights now where I'm going to be fading Arizona.
I mean, that would leave Atlanta and Washington.
There's Milwaukee.
I had them slightly below Houston.
Oh, yeah. I see him just above them, about 0.1 above them. But yeah, Milwaukee at nearly a 5.2 run total. I will not be fully stacking Milwaukee. That one feels like the one that could burn me. I will be most honest there. But I kind of feel like I need to live with the fact that I've been fading Milwaukee against left-handed pitching for much of the season. So I probably should just stick to that. But yeah, we can switch over to favorite per position, and then you can give the people some of your dong, and we can get out of here.
Let's see. Favorite catcher is probably going to be either Ruiz or Drake Baldwin. First base. I've Devers, but I have a soft spot for. The thing keeps moving on me. I'm ready to shoot it. Hard to deny Ty France and Matt Olson, but Devers is probably my favorite. Second base, it is Foscue. Third base, I really do like Curtis Mead, but I like Austin Riley and, always Junior. Shortstop, I'm not going to take what may be yours. But I like Otto Lopez and Neto. Outfield, I always love my Mickey. I actually like Mike Trout tonight. Always Jordan. And where did it go? It's outfield. There's so many. I like Michael Harris again, but I feel like I could name outfielders all day.
Yeah, for me at catcher, is going to be Drake Baldwin as my top guy. Was going to be Francisco Alvarez, but since he's not in the lineup, that hurts way too much. Can't really go wrong with Carter Jensen again. First base, not as strong for me as it has been. But like, I wish Salvador Perez still had catcher eligibility. But
Yeah.
he fits. Tommy White for the A's, please. At some point this week, he's going to hit his first major league home run. That's my belief. Tommy White, known as Tommy Tanks in college. I do expect the home runs to come there. Second base, not really as in love with second base tonight. I'll try to look at my notes here and see if there's a second baseman that stands
Lefty
out more.
killer, Justin Foscue.
I mean, Foscue just makes sense against lefties, but I like Willie Castro, the way that he's swinging it. It's kind of the one Coors bat that I think I'm probably going to be around field weight on. Third base, it's going to be Austin Riley again. Like the way that he's been swinging it recently. So it makes a ton of sense. Shortstop is Willie Adames tonight as my top shortstop play. That's a GPP option play. He's not very safe, making plenty of votes recently, but also ISO of 563 over the last week. So Willie Adames, if you don't want to trust Willie Adames, then it's Jacob Wilson. Couple home runs in the second half already, hitting leadoff for the A's. It's definitely boosted his performance. Outfield-wise, you mentioned Jordan. He's probably my favorite. You mentioned Michael Harris. He's 1B to Jordan's 1A in terms of my outfield rankings.
Like a little Harris on your Jordan.
Pretty much it. I have to delete. One of my other favorite outfielders was Tyler O'Neill, and now that he's not playing, I have to get away from Tyler O'Neill, even though he's had such a terrible season, and I shouldn't like him.
I thought you like Brewer Hecklin.
Yeah, I'm not getting to Brewer Hicklin, but I do like to see that Yaz is back DHing tonight. So maybe there's some fun there. Chandler Simpson VVP is just nice to see, even though he's got to pick up a couple singles, score a couple runs, steal a base or something. Darth pointed it out. Yeah. Problem is like it's probably going to come with 2 singles, and I don't know if that's enough to win us much. Other lower-owned guys, JJ Bleday probably might be due for a home run. I don't know. I don't really like using him. The win in Wrigley just kind of ruins a lot of things because I would have liked some bats in that game if it wasn't for all that. But yeah, I don't know. The outfield list is a little less than I normally would like to see for me and my player pool wise, but that's all right. Tattoo, before you give some dongs, I will point out, I obviously said Tommy White. I think he should be bet to dong for the first time.
Yeah, I just took him at plus 900. Then I took him with a boost at 1360.
Yeah, he's showing right now in DK on the DS at plus 910 to homer. So Then it was Adames is a main homer call for me. Would have been Francisco Alvarez as my third one, since I lost out on Alvarez. We will give you we're going to go with Lane Thomas, who's been swinging it pretty well, as my third call. Now, we'll let you fire out some names for people, and then we will get out of here, and then we'll be back in 23 hours or so.
If you're getting on the early game, could be a wild one in Philadelphia, but I have Bryce Harper. Obviously, I always love Jordan. I like Mickey always at home. I actually like Otto Lopez tonight. Andrew Vaughn. I do like Mike Trout tonight, which hurts me to say. Foscue. We obviously lost Mayo tonight, I do like Jake Berger tonight and Casey Schmidt and Devers. I like San Francisco.
Well, that is it for us. We got about an hour until slate start time, so it's time to start building out lineups and everything. If you're members of DFS Army, hit us up in Discord with questions. If you're not, scrolling at the bottom of the screen is our best promo code right now. Best Ball 2026 gets you 20% off any NFL or VIP Core 4 type membership. The Core 4 does include baseball. If you want to join us for just baseball only, you can use promo code RAZ or Tattoo for 10% off monthly. The link for that is in the description. But that's all we got. We're going to be back tomorrow. What was that?
Philly Dodgers is delayed if you're messing with the first late or early.
Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. We won't have a 13 or 14 game main slate, I don't believe, because we get Wednesday day baseball. So thankfully we don't have to dig through 107 different pitchers. So yeah, we're taking off. We're back in 23 hours. Best of luck tonight, everybody, and helmets up.
The best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block, helmets casket is top. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision, we got too many. Tick your check. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just dropped. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper, more naturally gifted.